Let's unpack this further with Sami Al-Arian, the director of the Center for Islam and Global Affairs and a professor at Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University. Professor, it's always good to speak to you on this news hour. So this international condemnation, I would say, is unsurprising given the comments that we've heard from many of Israel's allies, especially with regards to the famine taking place in Gaza. But hearing from Germany, we've said they will stop their military exports to Tel Aviv for now is quite interesting. What do you make of that?
I mean, it's very disingenuous for the Western countries to wait where the Palestinians are facing not just genocide, but starvation, to start taking some actions, which are going to make a big difference in what's happening in the field today. As you see, the Israeli government, the most extreme in the history of all governments, not only is trying to starve the Palestinians and commit war crimes every single day, but now they are trying to occupy it again and try to force the Palestinians out of Gaza. And there are probably several reasons for that. First, we're dealing with an ideological government, a government that believes deeply not only in the Zionist ideology, but also in the greater Israel project, in which the central piece is replacement, is the idea of replacing the indigenous people, which is again a colonialist, settler colonialist mentality, with Jewish communities in Gaza. And then you have the problem with the demographic problem, because when they decided that the way they're going to handle this is through genocide and ethnic cleansing, they were trying to solve the demographic problem that Israel has been facing, because it's not only ethno-centric state, but it's also an apartheid regime. So they're trying to solve this, and they really don't care about public opinion. They don't care even about their Western allies. The only thing they care about is the United States. And so far, the United States not only has been complicit, but it's also been a partner in this crime. What you have a morally corrupt president in the White House who gives Netanyahu whatever he wants. God knows what Netanyahu has on him so that he gets whatever he desires.
Professor, when you talk about the replacement of people in Palestine, where then would people in Gaza actually go to? Because countries like Egypt and Jordan have said they are not necessarily willing to take in Palestinians. What happens then to these people?
Israel doesn't care where the Palestinians go. They've been trying very assiduously, I should say, in trying to find some place for them. They will try to pressure the Egyptian government. And if the Egyptian government is not pressured through the United States, they may force them into Egypt. Whatever comes. But also they may try to get them from the sea or from other places. Right now, they really don't care. They are hoping that with the starvation policy they are instituting, with the bombing, with the exhaustion, now with occupation and military campaigns, that somehow the Palestinians will pack and leave. But leave where? I mean, it will not be surprising for the whole world that has been silent, seeing Palestinians die every single day by the hundreds, to just let them perish. Because we're dealing now at the final stage of this genocidal war, where the Palestinians would accelerate, the demise of the Palestinians will accelerate, and then they will try to force Egypt to take as many as they can, and the rest will just be in concentration camps or trying to force them into other countries through the sea.
During this cabinet meeting that was held last night, Israel agreed to this 5-point plan. And one of those points was saying that control of Gaza should be from an alternative civilian government that is not Hamas or the Palestinian territory. When they talk about this alternate government, who could that possibly be, and how could that government, or who rather could that government be made up of?
It's the same supremacist, racist mentality of settler colonials who are trying to impose their will on the indigenous people. Netanyahu has been saying that from day one. He will fail, and he will continue to fail in achieving any of his objectives that he announced. Now we are into 23rd month. So this is just another version of what he's trying to accomplish, and he's not going to be able to impose that. You know, those who are trying to dictate to the Palestinians how they should live and how they should govern themselves and where they should live, these kind of mentalities will be defeated with the persistence and resilience of the Palestinian people, despite the genocide. What's disappointing, of course, is that the whole world is watching and doing nothing to stop it.
And while that is watching, the world is watching, as you say, there are even those in Israel who are condemning this latest decision and this latest action, a lot of it coming from the families of hostages. But even former Israeli leaders have said they've gone too far. This is not the way. The lives of the hostages are in jeopardy. But it then seems obvious that none of this seems to really matter to Netanyahu or most of his far-right cabinet ministers.
It's not going to be a cakewalk. There will be tremendous amount of losses, both in terms of the hostages, the captives, as well as the Israeli soldiers. They will be paid dearly because this is now combat, and the people, the resistance fighters, they're back to the wall, and they would have to resist, and they would have to fight, and they would have to inflict casualties. What we're dealing with here is an ideological government who does not care about human life, not even Jewish life, because they have this greater Israel illusion that they think they have a golden opportunity with someone in the White House who is going along with them, and with the Zionists basically taking over the United States, that they can impose this new condition. But also there is a domestic aspect of it to this, because Netanyahu, the moment this war ends, he knows that he's probably going to go to prison. So he's trying to prolong his political life by going through this. But mainly we're talking about an ideological component in which not every Israeli is going to agree to it. But at the end of the day, there will be human cost, both Palestinian as well as the captives.
Professor Al-Arian, thank you so much for your analysis and views. Appreciate it.
Thank you.